magical. With me she'd say everything you want to dream away. We are legends every day. That's what she told him. I feel my heart beating. I feel my heart underneath my skin. I feel my heart beating. You make me feel like I'm alive again. Alive again. Oh, you make me feel like I'm alive again. Said I can't go on, not in this way. I'm a dream that died by light of day. Gonna hold up half the sky and say, only I own it. I feel my heart beating. I feel my heart underneath my skin. Oh, I can feel my heart beating. Cause
Maybe I
you
can
make
test
me
the audio.
feel like I'm alive again. Alive again. Oh, you make me feel like I'm alive again. Tell me magical. And she'd say everything you want to dream away. Under this pressure, under this weight, we are diamonds taking you working as a waitress in a
All right. Awesome. We can bring it together.
when I met you.
Talking Tesla.
I picked you out, I shook you up and turned you around.
Right? Actually, today I think I should change the name. It's called Talking Solar Roof Product Battery Integrated Home Solution.
What the heck have you got open there?
I've got open this is the interview schedule for the UCLA residency program.
Oh, that's not
I was
very-
trying to find your, I have to put your name in here to put in, to find whatever you sent out for Talking Tesla that I failed to read because I've been delinquent. I don't know what to say.
So is our audio on?
Ah, that's
Oh,
an
we're
interview.
on. We're live. And
We're
is
not
somebody looking at the
Memorex.
chat room because I can't look at it right now?
All right, I'm going to adjust my microphone just ever so slightly to make it loud.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time
Oh,
for
Here it
Talking
is.
Tesla
It's called Powerwall 2.
Powerwall 2. by Tesla.
Powerwall 2 live
So
stream.
we're all on the Powerwall.tesla.com website. To get in there, for those of you who haven't got there yet, you have to actually sign in. Just give me your email, and then it says order. So what will we be ordering tonight?
Well, it says ordering will begin soon. So I'm ready. Have you got your credit card ready?
Yeah, I'll get my.
Yeah, let me get my credit card
It's
ready.
probably only going to be many
Oh, wait, I got
thousands
my-
of dollars.
My key. No, it's not
But what do you
my
think
key.
what is? We know they're going to talk about
I'm
the
going
roof.
to order a new home, only from the roof up.
Robert's family's here. It's news to them.
Yeah.
You're going to have a new house.
We
It's
have a
very
new car.
exciting.
We have a new house.
I should also say that Tom couldn't be with us. Tom has got to go to Chicago in the morning. He couldn't be with us, but we've got some other special guests for you this evening. It's very exciting. So I think that he's going to be talking about, obviously, the solar roof. Now, in one of his tweets, he said that they were going to do this at 7 o'clock, and they moved it back to 5:30, and he said, for obvious reasons. And then he said, when the sun goes down, then... ... and that's obviously the part of the
Right.
program where they'll then talk about, we'll flip the battery on. Whoop, whoop.
Right, so they're probably going to have one light bulb going, and they'll have the solar panels pointed to the west. Of course, the sun is just about set, so it'll be enough to power one light bulb, and then they'll flick the switch. Well, they won't flick anything, probably. It's going to be automatic.
It's all going to be
It's going to be
automatic.
seamless, not like at the hospital where I've worked, many hospitals where they say, oh, we're going to test the generators now, and then all the lights go off,
You can tell.
and the monitors go off, and you're thinking, I hope this goes back on because somebody's heart is really important, and we're watching it very closely. And then, but now it's gotten to the point in the hospital, at least, that it's completely smooth transition.
Did I tell you my story about the generators? So we had a huge earthquake here 20 years ago.
We don't have earthquakes, and
And
we don't have rain in Southern California.
And they had the generators. So all the power went off and they went to turn the generators on, but there was no fuel in the generator. Oops. The diesel generators had not been filled up. I was going to say, for those of you who are not in LA, this event, the Tesla Powerwall 2 event, is occurring just down the road, 10 minutes down the road at Universal Studios, and it has been a very rainy, overcast day. So I'm worried that they haven't had a chance to charge up the Powerwall, and it's all going to fall apart.
Well, do you remember the Powerwall 1 event? We were there.
We were there.
I saw you there.
Yes.
And they had the power walls hidden on the back wall, which I have to credit my son. He said, they're over there by the back wall. And I was like, where? And of course they were behind just a cloth. Anyway, so at that event, he said, guess what? This whole event is being run by energy from the power packs,
the big ones.
And everybody was excited. And then they showed a video feed from outside where they showed the big, tall power packs with the energy meter. And yeah, everything except the vodka was made with electricity from the power packs.
Yeah, well, as soon as we got there, Tom and I walked in, and you get your little Chardonnay and you get your little hamburgers and all that stuff. And he goes, I bet you that this entire thing tonight is run off the batteries. And I'm like, of course it is. I didn't even think of that.
Of course.
Yeah, that was a fun little evening. Now, let me tell you how this is going to work this evening. So we're going to BS on as we are right now. And then we'll basically flip to the show, to Elon's show, and we'll turn our audio right down unless there's something profound to say. We won't be saying too much because whenever you watch these events with people talking over the top of the real speaker, it's really annoying. And then at the end, we'll come back and give you our 2 cents about whether we think the world just changed or it's a big yawn. So let's go back again. They've got the solar roof. So everybody wants to see how they're going to integrate an entire roof into a solar panel. They're not the only people who have done this. Since he first came out and said we're going to do this, and he made it sound like nobody's ever done this. Turns out there's small little companies that have actually been doing this, integrating roofing products and solar into one beautifully fashioned thing. We think that they're going to do something better, more special, more sexy.
Like one of the companies that sort of disappeared off of Kickstarter because, I don't know, they got bought out or bought up or
maybe by Tesla.
Made disappeared.
So we're going to see that. The other thing is the Powerwall. So the Powerwall, remember, was this battery pack. There are 2 forms of it: a 7 kilowatt hour battery pack, which you cycle every day. You're supposed to charge it up in the evening.
No, during the day when the sun is up.
Well, if you have solar panels during the day when the sun is up, and then when the sun goes down, you use that as your power. Or if you didn't have solar panels, you would charge it in the middle of the night when electricity is cheap, and then use it when electricity is expensive in the next evening.
Right.
But they got rid of the small one or the big one. They got rid of one of the versions.
They got rid of the version that was supposed to be like the backup power,
which was just a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Right. And that was the one that Tom initially said when we were there, like, this is just not big enough, I don't care. And I thought, I want that. Then I realized I use 30 kilowatt hours a day in this house because of all the lights, cameras, and action. So a 10 kilowatt hour backup wouldn't be very useful to me.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you can set it so that it just goes to your fridge and your microwave or something like that. But
right.
I don't think they were
the
big enough.
essential things like your computer.
My computer and the internet. So Powerwall 2, the rumors we've been hearing in the last few days, is expected to be probably twice as big, twice the capacity. And somebody I was even reading today, I don't know if it was all just BS, somebody pulling it out of their bottom, was saying that they think it's actually going to come in at the same price. Because that was the other problem. It's like $3,000 to $5,000, probably $5,000 by the time it's installed. And the payback period, if you're looking at it simply as I can save money on this thing, payback period 10, 20, 30 years.
Right.
So I'm hoping that they're going to say it's twice as big. What I really want is actually a power pack. I want a 100 kilowatt backup that'll last me days and days and days, and that I could even charge my Tesla up if I need to.
Well, they just need to make it modular, expandable
right.
to fit whatever you have. And whatever, and what would really be cool is if they could integrate it with the Tesla so that it could go 2 ways and use your car as a storage unit. Of course, there was that whole beef about, will people drive to the supercharger, fill up their Tesla with 85 or 90 or 100 kilowatt hours of energy, and then drive home and have a party and run whatever, all their DJ equipment, blast the neighbors, and then the next day, run back over to the supercharger, which, honestly, would you really do that?
You'd do it. I'd do it once.
$15 of electricity.
I'd do it once just to say I did it.
You are a loser.
Just
I would
once.
say you are a loser if that's what you plan to do in life.
Yeah, it's not like electricity, at least in the States, is that expensive. That would be just a pain in the butt to keep doing it.
It would, however, help us to pay back the enormous amount of money we pay in advance to have supercharger access, right?
Yeah.
Right. I haven't done 56 1,000 miles
which
of
is
driving to pay back the 2,000 it put in or whatever it's large numbers.
So that number that Robert's talking about is that when you buy a Tesla, we think for Model 3 that it'll be $2,000 to have supercharger access. $2,000 worth of electricity is the equivalent of about 60,000 miles of driving. So you're paying a significant amount of money up front,
So don't feel
rather than a
guilty.
pay per use, which they expect to happen. So what you're also talking about, so let me go back, is this integration of your car as a giant battery. Like my Tesla is an 85 kilowatt battery. That's enough for about 3 days in my house. A perfect smart grid system is solar comes in, you charge up the battery for your Powerwall 2, you charge up the battery to your car, then it gets like a day like today where there's not as much sun, and the car could potentially feed power back into the Powerwall, and the Powerwall could then feed the house. And that's one of the things we think we might see, this full integration of the electric car, the Powerwall, and the house, and the grid. But that's, I believe, technically difficult.
I don't know.
Not impossible.
It's only electrons. It's all about
Turning around and
forcing
making
them
them
to
go
go
the other
different
way.
ways. Yeah.
So-
Shall we?
Yeah, I think it is time for sake.
All right. Here's the.
So for some reason, it's become a Talking Tesla thing to have sake. We've done one other live event. I believe it was one other live event. And we had sake. And people said it was the best Talking Tesla we ever
And
did.
we had the same sake. I'll have you know.
And you have to... Is sake to be drunk warm?
Not this sake.
This is to be cold?
They warm up the sake
Oh, it's
because
cold.
it's crap.
Oh, is that... Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was a thing.
It's crap, and it's just what Americans want. Mel, do you want the big cup or the little cup?
I'll have a little cup.
You have the little cup.
I'll get
there.
too silly if
That's
I...
a super
if I have too
super
much
little cup. I'm going to have to aim really carefully.
Oh, yes.
And so I did mention that there's the crew have and the producer and such have not had any of the sake yet,
And they're all here.
And there are no technical difficulties as a result.
Cheers. Salud. What do the Japanese say?
Kampai.
Really? You're not swearing at me?
Kampai.
Kampai.
That means you're a short man.
I was just going to say, look at this. This is not through the magic of TV, but I'm a hobbit.
I'm going to go down now. I've lowered myself on the floor.
Tom's like 6 foot tall, so
Except
he feels
now the
tall.
microphone
now this
is.
guy's like,
There we go. Thank
look
you.
at this thing. It looks ridiculous. I
If
need
I
a
miss-
stool next time.
If I misbehave, Cece's
I
going to
need
push
a
the button
stool.
and I'm going to go down again.
My God, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Push it up.
So,
There we
are
go.
people chatting? I want to know what the Talking Tesla crowd say, what they think we're going to have. Show me.
That's
show
okay.
me.
I'll let you know that.
Show me a thing. Is there?
It's
what are they saying?
5:31, and it says nothing on the Tesla website. So I don't know. When do we call Tesla late?
Oh, they're always late. Well, Calvin Hang,
No, not at
Calvin Wang, I think it's a silent H, says, Mel, is your T-shirt accurate? I don't know if you've noticed this yet, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, but my T-shirt says, I poot. And yes, I did. I have a squatty potty as well. What else we got? So that's it. They're just asking about my T-shirt. That's fine.
Well, nobody's tweeting on the Tesla website. Oh, somebody just put out their save $1,000 on a Tesla connection here. This dude wants us to buy his with his number. Ah.
So while we're filling time, there's some more chatting going. I was going to tell you. Let's go over here. It's a very professional organisation we got to. I listen to your podcast every week. Keep up the great work, fellas. I will. Oh, Tesla minivan. Do you think that's going to happen tonight? I don't think so.
No.
Behind as usual, says Jonathan DeYoung. Yes. Tesla time. Elon Musk time. Oh, great. Elon Musk time is a long, long wait. The longest we've waited was like an hour and a half. It's absolutely crazy.
Can we talk about something I think that's important?
No, let's not talk about anything important.
We have a water shortage in California. And once upon a time when I was excited about putting a new roof on my house, I kind of bagged and put the old crappy kind of roof on, the asphalt shingled roof.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are quite toxic. Every time it rains,
Yes.
the water that rolls off your roof
Yes.
has a bunch of carbon, hydrocarbons on it. And it's actually kind of nasty toxic.
Are you saying that it should be made out of glass and some form of silicon that could also
no,
produce
but
energy?
these metal roofs, I looked at these metal roofs.
Mm-hmm.
They, I believe, are going to be very similar, if not the same, as Solar City is using for their PV roof product. They're strips. They're about, I think, anywhere between like 6 and 12 inches wide, so they can fit, them using a combination on the roof.
Yep.
They have a bend up, and then the next piece comes and clamps over it. And it makes it actually pretty quick to put it on your house. There's no like nails that go through it. They use a bracket system. anyway, you set these things up, and the rain makes a little bit of a pitter patter on them. So some people think that sounds cheap, but when the water comes off, you can actually use not the very first water full of all the soot and stuff that falls on your roof. You let that stuff wash out of the system, and then you can collect the rest of the water, and it is rainwater.
Right.
You
And
could drink it.
Put it through
And
a
so
filter.
that's used, I believe, in your homeland.
I grew up in the outback, in case nobody knew, and we had a steel roof, and then we had a big sort of rain collector, exactly like you're talking about.
Right.
There was no filter. There was nothing. It just went into a tank, and we just drank out of that water, and that was it.
Yep.
And we didn't filter off the first rain.
Well, you didn't live in the middle of a city with 2 million cars.
But what is upsetting is that one day my little brother was like, "The water tastes funny," and so we looked inside the tank,
Oh, yes.
and there were dead things in there.
Oh,
Squirrels,
nice.
kangaroos, small people. It was pretty bad.
Dingoes as well?
Dingoes.
Dingoes.
And a dingo took my water. So we're still late. I
It's a
want
good
to
idea
know.
to put a screen over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know exactly what. So you're talking about sort of a shingle tile thing. So
No,
there-
I'm talking about these are long runs of
strips,
metal.
and then they just sort of clip together.
They clamp together. There's a bracket underneath. This kind of a roof cost about 50% more than a typical shingle roof. Use the same preparation on the house. But what I'm remembering hearing from Elon and the various forward talking elements of this is that they were going to have it so that you didn't have to do anything structurally to your house, that this roof could just go straight on. So you don't have to like put plywood down. You don't have to do all kinds of upgrading. You just drop this thing on your roof, essentially making this, I don't know what you would call it. It's kind of almost prefabricated roof, easy to go on, inexpensive in that respect. So it almost makes it so that the solar doesn't cost you much at all extra.
Right.
And then you can probably spend the extra money on the battery, which will make you, if not energy independent, closer to energy independent.
It'll be really interesting to see what price this comes in at. Whether it's going to be a number that is palatable to people, because a roof, I don't know what the average roof, they'll probably give us some of these stats. The average roof in the United States for a single family home is probably $20,000 or $30,000. You think more?
Depends if you shop. Of course,
More or
you have a
less.
bigger house than I do. I live in a small house.
Well, we hobbits have big houses, but how much more than parity would you pay? So if it's say $20,000 for the standard,
Sounds
and they
like
come in at $25,000, would you buy it? If they come in at $30,000, would you buy it?
That sounds like an excellent Twitter poll.
It is an excellent turbo. So let me look here.
How much more would you pay to have the lightness of heart that you are not contributing to the carbon of the universe?
So
Just our
Andrew
universe.
from Germany is saying, like your shirt, Mel. Thank you very much.
And from Germany, no less. So we're reaching probably, I wonder how far the Tesla Powerwall podcast or broadcast is going.
Jonathan DeYoung has asked this. I'm interested to see how well the solar roof will work in somewhere like Michigan, for example. Would the snow stick to it? Would it slide off? Would you have to go up there and brush it off? Yeah, I wonder, like at my house, and I've talked about this before, so I have a big house, I have lots of solar. In the summer, for 6 months of the year, I make more energy than I use, even with 2 electric cars. But in the winter, because the sun flops down over that way, starts headed south for the winter, I get a lot of shadowing from the trees and over here, and I get about a third of the amount of solar that I do during the summer. So as with all things solar, if you want 100% replacement for the entire year, you're probably going to have to significantly overbuild your system, and then that means you're going to overproduce in the summer, so you're going to have to sell it to the utility. So even if you have this, you'll probably still want to be grid tied. And I don't know how it works when, I guess you just put it into the earth. If you're not grid tied, you're making more than you're using, your batteries are all full, your car's full, and you're still making a lot of solar energy. Is there anybody out there that knows this? Do they just like have a little lightning rod into the Earth's crust, and that's where all the electrons flow when you don't need it anymore?
I think that they can actually just stop drawing from the panels, and the actual
You could just turn them
reaction
off.
within the silicon layers of the panels
Has
just
nowhere to go.
stops.
Because you don't have any polarity, so they just don't move. So that makes sense. So we've got a couple of people saying here, oh, Elon's late. Yeah. Tom said it's been raining all day. Yeah, so again, this event is about 10 minutes down the road, and it's been raining off and on all day, which I'm sure is going to make their solar roof very clean because I
Yes.
really love it
Actually,
when it
coming
rains
over
here.
the Sepulveda Pass, it was so beautiful. I could see all the way to the mountains in the north. We were all commenting on how beautiful a day it is today.
Nick Hoffman just said that Elon just tweeted that they're now going to start at 5:45. So what's
Do you
the
want to
time
bet?
now? No.
No. Okay.
So that is in approximately 7 minutes.
So we can drink more sake and loosen up.
Yes. Allowing more people to arrive. Because what he did, they sent out this email to probably thousands of people. And then it was going to start at 7 o'clock. And then
You didn't
Elon
get it?
just randomly goes yesterday, oh, no, we're going to start at 5:30. Yeah,
You
what are
didn't
you
get it?
thinking?
You didn't get it.
I didn't get the
You didn't get the invitation.
I didn't get an invite.
I did.
Why did you get one?
I don't know, because I have a Solar City roof. I have a Tesla
I have
car.
Solar City roof. I have a
I
Tesla
don't-
car.
I don't complain about the
the
Falcon
fucking
wing
Falcon
doors.
Wings doors.
No. I'm
The
actually kind
Falcon
of-
Wings.
I'm kind of enamored with Tesla. I just had my car. I just got it back this morning from service.
We're going to talk about that. First of all, Nick Hoffman says, Mel, can you say, I like that? I like that. Okay, go on.
So for the
Your car was broken. What was
Well-
wrong with the car? Tell us the story.
I was driving around and I'm sitting in the seat. Right, it's at the time.
You were
it's about
sitting in the seat. That's
I was
good.
sitting in the seat.
Wow.
Yeah, I try to drive in the seat as opposed to sitting in the center console. Although I've seen some people do that with autopilot. Silly. It's
very silly. Don't do that.
So I was sitting in the seat about 6 months ago and leaning back, and every time I lean back, it goes ee, ee, ee. And I was like, what the hell is this sound? And then I realized that there's a blow-up bag in your lumbar support.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's it's squeaking. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. So I take it into the service for something else. And I said, by the way, the seat is squeaking. And so the guy there was kind of new, which is sometimes the problem, right? So if you go into Tesla and you meet with somebody who's been hired yesterday and they don't quite give you the answer you want, ask for someone else. So he says, well, just undo the seat, deflate the lumbar support. And then it doesn't squeak. And I said,
But you have no lumbar support.
You don't get it. I spent $90,000 on this car, 3 times more than I've spent on just about any other car. And I'd rather use the lumbar support. Thank you very much. And so finally he went back and talked to somebody who actually knew what they were talking about. And they said, well, we'll replace the seat. And I was like, well, that's pretty sweet. I had
So you got a whole new seat?
I
Not
just
a lumbar
picked up my
support?
car with a brand new seat, new leather, new seat. And all of a sudden I'm sitting up. I feel my hair just brushing on the roof. I couldn't believe it. It's so nice. It's
Wow.
like I have a new car. I have a new motor, right? So 3 weeks ago, the motor started making this whining sound.
So when you accelerate, it goes, "Ee." That
Right.
was a big problem with 50% of the first motors they put in.
Yeah, well, now it's actually considered not a recall, but it's called a service bulletin.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually I was with Eric, one of the club members, and he was sitting in the back seat. And I was driving, and he said, Robert, have you heard this sound back here? I says, yeah, I have been hearing it. He says, that's the sound just before my motor needed to be replaced. And I thought, okay, well, I got to drive back from Palm Springs. I've got 7 shifts between now and when I'm going in to get my seat replaced. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to let it go. And so I called them a couple days ago before I got my service, and I said, I got this whining. They said, no problem. I forgot the name of the dude who got in the car with me. I drove him up and down the street. He says, yeah. And so sure enough, within 2 days, I have a new seat and a new motor. And so essentially, the entire connection between me and the ground has been renewed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Drivetrain, whatever, the driver motor system, the seat.
Not
the
the
steering
person.
wheel's still in great shape. So
The only
it's not
thing
like
to
that
do
needs to be
is
replaced.
fix you. Now, you got a
Me?
loaner of a
Oh.
P100?
No, I got a P85D
Okay.
with insane mode. Not ludicrous.
Not with ludicrous?
Insane mode. And you know what? That was an experience. And actually, I made a lot of notes about how autopilot is because I'm driving now. I drove for 2 days with autopilot version 1.
Mm-hmm.
Not with the upgraded 8.0 software, but the first version.
Yes.
And I put it through about 200 miles of mixed driving. And I have a lot of insight from that. That was very, very cool. So I'm in this neighborhood right alongside where the Tesla service center is. Actually, it's where I grew up. And I know the streets very well. And I'm sitting on this wide, street in a neighborhood. There's nobody around. There's not even cars parked because it's such a big houses. And I thought, well, I could see way, way ahead. And I thought, well, let me just see how it feels. And I just picked up the loaner and I'd put all my stuff in the loaner because I live in my car. And I just stepped on the gas and it went back and I felt this feeling in my loins.
Uh-oh.
My loins kind of like pressing back into the seat. And
You had loin
it's
issues.
a good thing I don't have prostate problems because I would have wet myself. And the first thing that came to my mind, insane. It scared me. And of course, all the things that I had put in the car were now in the back seat. It was freaking crazy. And then I realized, I don't know if I really want a ludicrous car. I mean, like,
I'm honestly,
It's
people ask me,
kinda
why didn't you get the really
scary.
fast one? And like the biggest reason is like, I don't think I can handle it. My foot's going to slip onto the accelerator one day and it's going to plow me off the side of the mountain. So mine's plenty fast enough. It's 0 to 60 in 5 seconds or something. And that's ridiculous. I'm getting a new Tesla. Did I tell you?
yeah, this one was 3.9.
Yeah, that's crazy. The dual motor X does it in like 4.2 seconds, and that feels sick. It's just so fast. Do you guys sit down at all? No. And really, Henry, is your name Henry Ford? Really?
Wow.
No, it can't be.
Don't know, but
Now, they said there's a lot of speculation on Twitter that the houses at the event have all the new shingles on them. What houses
there's
at the
no
event?
Houses.
I don't know
they've
where
got,
that is.
Unless they've got.
On
Unless
the
they've
Tesla
got
Tweety.
it part of the King Kong exhibit, where King Kong comes through and smashes, and they'll show how strong the roof is. King Kong can't smash it.
Let's get back to then what you oh, hang on, let me shut up because it's starting.
Is it?
It's starting. I don't know. So we will shut up pretty much completely until the end of their announcement. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, enjoy yourselves. We'll get back to you in probably 20 minutes. So we can go full screen.
How am I supposed to get along? Nothing better than forever, baby. We can have it all.
Hey everybody. My name is Lyndon Rive. I'm the CEO of Solar City. I'm very excited about the products we're going to be announcing today. The products you'll see is a joint collaboration between Solar City and Tesla. I want to thank the team for really putting this together in such a short amount of time. Really appreciate their help in getting this done. But to really understand the vision, let's welcome Elon Musk. Everybody.
Hey. Yeah, no fuzzy jacket this time. So I will start off by just talking about the reason why we're doing this, which is, as you may have read, we're reaching record CO2 levels. Global warming is becoming a serious crisis, and we need to do something about that. But just like with electric cars, where electric cars originally they didn't look good, they had low range, they didn't have good performance, they were like a golf cart, and so people had a real hard time buying electric cars. And I think something similar needs to happen to solar. We really need to make solar panels as appealing as electric cars have become. And like the interesting thing is the houses you see around you are all solar houses. I don't know if you know that. Did you notice? Yeah. So we're talking in detail about each of them, but the goal is to have electric or solar roofs that look better than a normal roof, generate electricity, last longer, have better insulation, and actually have an installed cost that is less than a normal roof plus the cost of electricity. So then why would you buy anything else? So we're going to get into the details here. So obviously you saw the chart there. Probably you're familiar with that chart that came from NASA about how we're in vertical climb on CO2 levels. We need to do everything we possibly can to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy.
Save us, Elon.
So So the goal of Tesla, people sometimes think of Tesla as an electric car company, but really the whole purpose of Tesla was to accelerate the advent of sustainable energy. It's not like there was a shortage of car companies in the world. There are plenty of good gasoline car companies, but there weren't good electric cars. That's really what was needed. So there are really three parts to the solution. So we go to what is the future that we want? It consists of a really appealing solar roof, then combine that with storage and with electric cars. So it's an obvious three-part solution. Yeah, three-part solution. Yeah. It's really not that complicated. Now, you need battery packs because the sun does not shine at night. And the point that we're at right now is, in fact, obviously a transition. We're transitioning from day to night. It's dusk. And so what's happening is that the houses are transitioning from the roof generating power to the battery pack, the power wall, producing power. So during the day, you fill up the battery, and then at night, and in dusk and dawn, you use the battery. It's pretty straightforward, really. It's like not that complicated. You just need both. But if you have a great solar roof and you have a battery pack in your house and you have an electric car, that's something that scales worldwide. That you can solve the whole energy equation with that. So, yeah. Obviously, next slide, please. So we'd like to introduce the Powerwall 2. This is a big step above the Powerwall 1. It has twice as much energy, more than twice as much power. So it's a 14 kilowatt hour energy storage, 7 kilowatt power output. And just to put that in basic terms, you can take a 4-bedroom house and you can have you can power your fridge, the sockets, and lights for a day. And if you have solar on your house, you can power it indefinitely. So that's just with one. And then on the utility side, we've got the Power Pack 2, which similarly doubles the energy. So it's a 10 kilowatt hour capability, 50 kilowatt power output, and this can scale to unlimited size. So it's in fact we've recently announced the biggest utility battery installation in the world, which is going to be with Southern California Edison. Let's go to the next slide. So we have an 80 megawatt hour battery installation that's being built right now. So. And then we announced one earlier this year, which is for a utility in Hawaii doing 52 megawatt hours. You're going to see a lot more of these announced over time. And I think it's important to make sure people appreciate that the solution is both local power generation and utility power generation. It's not one or the other. Sometimes the solar roof is positioned as a sort of a competitor to utilities, but we're actually going to need utility power to increase, and we're going to need local power generation. Because if you transition all energy to electric, that roughly triples the amount of electricity that's needed. So you need about a third for transport, about a third for heating, and about a third for what we currently use as electricity. So the future is bright for utilities and for local power generation. I would expect it to be roughly a third local power generation, roughly 2/3 utilities. So I think it's a very bright future for utilities and for rooftop. So let's take a look at some of these roofs. As I mentioned earlier, what we're really looking for here is how do we have a solar roof that is better than a normal roof, that looks better, lasts longer, has better insulating effect, and where the cost of roof plus electricity is less than that of a normal roof. Now, this this is sort of the integrated future. You've got a electric car, a Powerwall, and a solar roof. And the key is that it needs to be beautiful, affordable, and seamlessly integrated. And then if all those things are true, why would you go any other direction? So yeah. So we're going to show you, this is the before shot of that house over there. So that's what it looked like before. Now that's all solar. Yeah. I think we've got some close-up shots that we can show. And if you look carefully, you can actually see the solar cells behind the glass. And I'll actually pick up one of these so you can show you what I mean. So this is a textured glass tile. If you look carefully, you can see the solar cells. Yeah, you can see that. So we have a malfunction on the LED. So let's take a look at the next house. Right, so that house is also solar, and that's a sort of a style of a French slate, which is one of the hardest things to do. It's considered one of the best roofs you can possibly do as a conventional roof. So we said, well, can we make a French slate roof that's solar that looks as good or better than a conventional French slate roof? And we're able to do that as well. That's done with hydrographic printing. So each tile is unique. So the production process itself makes each tile special and unique, a sort of special snowflake tile. But the nice thing is that no two roofs will be the same. So it's not just cookie cutter. You can take any two roofs like that, and they will look different, because they are different. So. This is what the French slate hydrographic looks like. You can see that. And then the third house is really transformative. Because believe it or not, that's what it looked like before. So we changed the roof, and it was like, whoa, we put that roof on, we've got to change the house too. So that tile is more of a modern look. And here you can really see, as the angle changes, that you can see the solar cells. Here we put a film with microlouvers on it so that as the angle changes, it goes from transparent to opaque. So from the vantage point of the street or anywhere near the house, it looks completely opaque. But from the sun, to the sun, it's transparent. So. And then probably the most surprising one is the Tuscan glass. So this is also solar panels. We've put two versions of the Tuscan glass approach. All of the dark tiles have solar panels. So we interleave dark and light, and then the dark ones are the ones with solar panels. again, you can see that the transparency changes quite a bit. So as from the sun's vantage point, which tends to be high angle, you can see the solar cells. But as you change the angle to shallow angle, it reverts to a sort of a orangey color. So one of the other advantages of glass is that we can actually make it a lot tougher and last a lot longer than a conventional roof. So just as a demonstration video, show you what happens if you drop a big weight on a conventional roof tile and one of our glass tiles. So the solar roof weren't just, we wanted to look better, last longer, provide better insulation, and cost less, all things considered, than a conventional roof. There's still a huge market for the current solar systems, because if you're building a new house or you're redoing your roof, then this is the way to go. But if you have a new roof, then you'd want to put solar panels on that roof. So there's two very distinct markets, and there's about 4 to 5 million new roofs in the U.S. every year, and I think 20 times that number worldwide. So you can imagine over time, as people replace their roofs with solar roofs, that the whole neighborhood everyone would have solar. Like why wouldn't you? Over time, every house would become a solar house. And it's a neighborhood where the aesthetics actually get better. So where you look around your neighborhood, and that's what you want to have happen. So I mean, the key is really to make solar something desirable, where if you install a solar roof on your house, you're really proud of it. You want to put it on the most prominent part of the house. You want to call your neighbors over and say, check out the sweet roof. It's like not a phrase that you hear often. But that's the key to it. People really care about their homes. They love their homes, and they really want them to be better. And I think taking this approach, it can be. So that's where we're headed, and I hope you agree that's the future we want. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it seems like that's it, which was really short. That was 15 minutes of this presentation. So let me summarize a few things, and there was a couple of Easter eggs in there that we saw. So first of all, I don't know where they did this. I thought it was actually at Universal Studios at the lot.
They might have used like the
lot adjacent.
They might have used the parking area for Universal Studios, but then had everybody go out into an adjacent street, because this looks like a residential street.
How did you, I mean, was there a sign-up list? Do you want a Tesla solar roof? I'd be like, yeah, for free, sure.
I don't know. Doesn't
Are
Cece
they
live
prop
over there? Why
houses?
wasn't she up on this?
That's what I was wondering. So Dave's telling us that this is the fake town that's on the Universal lot. That's what I thought it was initially. So that makes sense. So this is a fake town with nobody in those houses, but they just threw these solar roofs up on there just to show how they look. So that
I wonder if
makes
they
sense.
did like an episode of one of those fixer-up TV shows
That's right.
and actually did this as part of it. That would be pretty sweet.
So he did the usual thing, like Tesla's mission is to create sustainable energy for the planet, and you've got to have a car, you've got to have the solar cells, and you've got to have batteries. And the first big reveal was Powerwall 2.0. So twice the power now, 14 kilowatt hours. Now we're getting somewhere where it's useful. Have two of those, and you've got 30 kilowatt hours. That's enough to run even a big house for a day or so.
He was saying with the one unit that you could run a 4-bedroom house, all the electronics in it for an entire day. And if you paired it with solar panels or the solar roof, it would be an indefinite situation.
So it would basically charge up during the day, use it during the night, charge up during the day, use it during the night, as long as you had enough solar capacity on the top of your house.
Right.
Power Pack 2, which is the big one, the industrial one, they've also doubled the size of that to 210 10 kilowatt hours.
Yes.
And you can just basically link them up and have an unlimited amount of power. And he was talking about up here down the street at, what's it called? It's the biggest installation of Tesla power
Aliso
packs.
Viejo.
Aliso Viejo, where they had the giant gas leak
Right.
because they take the natural gas and they pump it into these caverns underneath the ground, and then it broke and everybody had to leave. So they are not doing that anymore. They're going to put these power packs there. So that's pretty exciting. The thing that I found really interesting is that as we move to this electric future where everything is electric, your house is electric, your car's electric, your spouse is electric, whatever it is, everything's electric. They're going to have 3 times as much electricity generation. And so the utilities have been very concerned. Well, if everybody has solar on their house, how do we make money? You're saying, no, we're going to need so much. It'll be about 1/3 will be on your house, and 2/3 will be at the utility scale. And the utility scales have to going to go up way as well. So don't worry, there'll be plenty of places for you to make cash.
For the utility companies.
For the utility companies.
Right. Well, utility companies, when they make a decision to buy a power plant or to put a bunch of natural gas in the ground, they're looking over a long period of time. They amortize these things for 20, 50, 100 years. And so if the numbers that Elon and Tesla and Solar City have put together actually pan out, I would actually predict that power companies will go like sort of the pendulum is going to swing. And they are going to start to turn their attention completely to renewable electricity systems, and maybe even abandon completely buying energy from out of state. Right? They're under mandates from the state that they have to have a significant. They have to, in California, they have to have considerably more renewable energy generation over the next. I think it's 2025 is what Governor Brown set as a deadline, or 2030. So this is almost like a give me to the California utilities to get going and to start this the process of transitioning over.
So then he started talking about the roof, and he said, look, you've got to make it affordable, and it's got to be durable, and it's got to look beautiful. And then he went on to show a number of different types of this French slate and Tuscan, and this is some form of hydrographic printing. I have no idea. We'll hear about the details later. But
Has to do with water, I think.
yeah, they certainly look absolutely beautiful. But there was a lot of questions that he didn't answer. He said, overall, this is going to be cheaper than a standard roof. So I think what that means is
standard roof plus the electricity you would buy
Right.
over the period the roof will make electricity.
Right. So he's saying we're going to combine the cost of the roof and the returns you'll get from generating your own electricity.
Right, so
it's
like-
not like it's going to be cheaper than building a crappy roof.
So for my house, let me use my house as an example. I actually live in a small house. It's like 1,100 square feet. And we recently put solar on it, maybe a year ago. Well, actually less, but we contracted for it a year ago. And our house, to buy the electricity for our house, and I have a Tesla, right? So I'm driving on the average of 24,000 miles a year. That's a lot of driving. And I have a house, and it's a small house. But I paid for 20 years of power, $12,000.
Well,
So if my roof is going to last 20 years, which is not an unreasonable time frame, and a roof I think we put a roof on my house, on our house, and it was maybe $6,000 or $8,000. So 12, 8, $20,000. You're going to pay some amount less than that to replace your roof and get all the electricity you're going to need. That's pretty
awesome. And Solar City has been sort of the kings of paying it forward or paying it back, whatever the word is. So you don't have to find that $20,000 out of pocket.
Right.
You can just pay them the money, and they're magicians with having you pay them instead of paying the power company. The other questions I had was like, are these going to be durable? And so they did the kettlebell drop test. So they dropped a kettlebell onto a standard slate roof. They dropped it onto a sort of terracotta tile, and then they dropped it onto the solar roof that they've got. And in that unscientific one shot quickly with a camera, it looked like the
It
Tesla
must
one
have
was
been
way
the
better.
best of situations, but that kettlebell is not light. I swing that thing at the gym, and I could see that was dropped from a fair amount above. It dented the solar panel. I mean, the whatever you want to call it, Tesla roof.
Yep.
And I don't know if that Tesla roof will produce anymore. So I know that when we put our solar panels on our house, we had to sign a waiver that said that Solar City would not guarantee the solar panels if they were hit with golf balls. And evidently, if you are putting a solar roof on and you live around a golf course, you should think otherwise.
So
Because golf balls break solar panels.
So we've got a couple more things, and I'll go to the people that are chatting because there's some really good comments there. So he says there's 4 to 5 new roofs in the United States each year. Why
4
wouldn't
to
you put this on?
5 million?
20x that worldwide. And if you just put on a roof recently, then just put on solar panels. But if you're going to if you're replacing a roof, then why wouldn't you do this? And if everything he says is true, then why wouldn't you do this?
Well, it kind of gives me a bit of a concern, though. Like, what if you just put on a roof 3 years ago? Are you going to now rip that roof off and put on a Tesla roof because it's cool?
No.
You want to be a Tesla?
Like he specifically said, just put on solar panels. It would make no sense to do
Right.
that. But if you've got an aging roof, then do this. Why wouldn't you? And I've been saying this on our show, forever. Every time I fly over LA, I'm like, look at all these houses, these millions of houses. Why doesn't every single one of those have solar on? And that's what I want to see
In 20
happen
years,
now.
you're not going to be able to tell the difference if this goes big.
These look absolutely spectacular. He did not
Although-
go into pricing specifically, though. I want to say he didn't say exactly how much is this going to cost, and that's
it
always a
says-
concern.
It still says orders will begin soon. So I guess my concern is I don't want people to go ripping off perfectly good
Right.
roofs and increase their carbon footprint just to get the new Tesla roof, although that is very cool.
Smart Electric, who is watching the stream here, says that he just did cost him $10,000 for a 2,500 square foot home.
Yeah.
So
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's about right. So the average monthly bill in the United States, is according to Nicholas Cox, is about $110 for electricity, which is about $25,000 over 20 years. So again, if you amortize the cost of the roof against the savings from the electricity, you can probably be way ahead here. What he also didn't say, which I'm concerned about, is how energy efficient is this roof. So he showed us some of these slates, and there was a little solar panel in the bottom, and then there was a lot of non-solar panel up the top. I assume that's where it slides underneath the other
Right, so you're
terracotta
gonna-
tile thing.
Right.
But he didn't tell us, like, per square foot how much energy that you might generate from this. And when you don't say those details on an event like this where you've gathered the world and say, come to our event, I get a little anxious.
Well, but I think it's really challenging. In fact, I think it's going to be very challenging for the Solar City people who are going to have to go out to everybody's house and calculate, because not only are they just going up on your roof to see, okay, where is the southernmost exposure and where would be the best place to put 2 by 4 foot solar panels. Now they're going to put this all over your roof with little shaded zones, and these things are going to have to probably have micro inverters on them.
I was going to talk about that too.
And
yeah.
they're going to produce all sorts. They have to come up with an algorithm that is so complicated my head hurts.
But you'd still think that they'd do what everybody else does, which is under the best of circumstances, this is 22% efficiency, because they have panels
Under
that they're
the
making.
best circumstances.
Yeah,
right.
so obviously you saw one of those houses with a lot of shadowing, and I was thinking the same thing. Are they going to have micro inverters on this? So for those of you that don't know, usually what happens is you get all this electricity coming in, it goes down to these big inverters that turns it from direct current, which is the photons coming down, turns it into alternating current, then you can use it in your house and take it back to the grid. And because of the way solar panels work, if you get a little bit of shadowing on a series of solar panels that are on the same sort of strip, as it were, you get a huge reduction in the electricity generation.
Sure.
If you have micro inverters, which is an inverter under each solar panel, it's much more efficient. So you can have some shading on one panel,
And
and
it
it doesn't
doesn't
affect the other panel at all. So this is the kind of thing which would be perfect for that. But micro inverters were a problem because they broke a lot. But he said, not necessarily about microinverters, but they've developed inverters that are the best on the market. They're fantastic. Nobody other's people's inverter is as good as our inverter. It's the greatest inverter. But I don't know if it's microinverter.
I like the fact that he stressed 4 things in the presentation. He said them 2 and 3 times each. You want a roof that looks better, right? Looks are important. We definitely saw that with Model S. They last longer. So now, when you get a solar panel for your house, it has to last 20 years for you to be eligible for various, state rebates or federal funds.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have, they're going to be cheaper, like I said, than the cost of the roof and the cost of the electricity. And I put something here about install. I wrote butter install. I don't think that's what he said.
I don't think they're doing butter install.
No, I don't think he said butter install. But maybe they're easier to install, or I don't know.
Now, a couple of people here are worried about, if this is glass, it's going to be very slippery, you're going to fall off. But it looked like there was contours to this, and so maybe this is not as slippery as we think a sheet of glass on your roof would be.
He had like 4 different roof products, right? He had the plain glass ones that looked like a standard, composite roof. They were dark. They didn't have a lot of variability to them. They had the French slate style, which had the hydrographic printing, and they had this really interesting chromatic variation. If you looked at the tiles, they actually kind of had different colors between them, and I think they actually might have changed color a bit as you move from side to side. Then he had the third house, which had he said micro. Oh, right, the louvers. They showed the louvers in the panel. So, like, if this is the piece of glass and it's sitting here like this, when you're looking at it from the street, you see these little louvers within the glass. You can't see now the variation where the panel sets. But there's a panel in there. And if you moved your point of view to above it, like the sun, then you would see through the louvers and you could see the actual panel within the shingle. So that kept it looking really nice from the street view. And that's one of the things I've heard my neighbors say, which just completely dumbfounds me. Like, I think they're ugly. I don't want them on my house. And as we've said, I want to put them on my back because I think they're so cool.
They look very cool.
And then there was the fourth house. That was the Tuscan style, which to me looks like a Spanish roof. And those I thought looked awesome.
Yeah. So they look
Impressive.
pretty. We still don't know how much they are. We don't know the efficiency. We don't know if they're going to have micro inverters. It's pretty exciting. He didn't talk about this integration that we were discussing before he did the event, which is they showed lots of cars, lots of Tesla power walls. They showed lots of solar, but there was no discussion about whether you would be able to use your car as part of this energy solution going back and forth. But there was a couple of things that I thought were very interesting in the background that a number of people here noticed on the stream as well, which was there was lots of S's. I saw an X.
Oh, cars.
I saw a Model 3.
I thought you said a lot of asses.
No.
Because we were looking at the back end of a lot of people.
There was a Model 3 and it looked really good. And there was a baby Tesla. Did you see the little
loved it.
$750 baby
white,
Tesla that they sell there? That is pretty cool. So I've got lots of questions.
And they summoned the Model 3 using the summon feature, which I thought is pretty darn cool.
It would have been a bit of a downer if the Tesla had gone crazy.
Going on here.
I think they're probably just redoing it. But let's see what
There's
they
some
say.
dude on. I don't know who he is.
I think that was the beginning.
Oh, is it?
They're probably just replaying it, right?
Okay.
So other questions here.
Too confusing.
What efficiency? People worried about the snow. Would it melt off? And that's true whether you have this type of solar panel or any other type of solar panel. People who live in snowy areas, it should be slippery. It should slip off, right?
Right. And also the solar panels do generate a little bit of warmth compared to a cold roof.
There wasn't, if there was any other sort of significant technology, you would think that they would talk about it. When he started talking about louvering, I thought, is this panel actually moving to follow the sun? But it's not what he meant.
I caught that the Powerwall 2, right? So that's the one you'd put in your house, has a 14 kilowatt hour battery pack, 7 kilowatt peak output.
Right.
So 14 kilowatt hours, that's pretty good.
Yeah, 2 of those, like I was saying, is a lot. But again, he didn't say how much. If it was going to come in at the same cost, you would think it'd say, like an Apple reveal, and it's going to be the same price as it was last year.
I wonder if
I expect
Rolf's
it'll be
considering putting one of those on his trailer.
Yeah.
So he can go
It's
across
a lot.
Canada
14
again.
kilowatts is actually a substantial amount. And they look about the same size. Somebody here is asking, to power your house off your car, at least 5 times more storage in your X than the Powerwall units. Yeah. So this is what I was saying, and Nicholas is saying the same thing. If you want to have a backup at your house that can also do your car, it's really sort of sobering to realize how big that battery pack in your car is. It's a 90 kilowatt hour battery pack in your car.
You'd need 6 of these things and you drain them.
You'd need 6 of them. And that's why I think
Probably
if you really
more.
want to have a backup at your house and be off-grid for your car and your house, you really need to have the industrial version, which is 210 kilowatts. But that thing is going to come in at, I can't remember the number of what it was, but over $100,000.
Really,
$160,000.
all you need is enough to power your car to get to the nearest supercharger.
No, but if it's a zombie apocalypse, I want to make all my own energy.
Yeah, but
I really
everybody's
wanna-
going to come to your house and they're going to see that you have your lights on and they...
Yeah, I know, we've
They
done this
want your
before.
blood.
You're the first people to be killed.
Yeah.
So Any other things you want to cover? I've got nothing else. To me, it's just many, many, many questions.
I guess
unanswered questions.
What I was most worried about was that he was going to reveal something that I couldn't live without, which would delay my purchase of another Model S with full autopilot. And I'm glad to say I'm not.
No, and you know that's another reason probably why you can't take the power from your car and put it into your house, because with autopilot you don't even have to go to the supercharger.
right.
You can just send it to go get some more energy.
Redo my car.
Oh, so we're being shown here some screen grabs of the Model 3, and I've lost them.
Yeah, that was a good screen grab. It was the silver Model 3. You can tell it's a Model 3 because if you look at the frunk lid, it's got the Tesla symbol embedded in the paint in a horizontal plane. And Model S's don't have that, right? The Tesla Model S is on the front in the new sort of grille feature.
It looks like a beautiful car. So people, as they were watching the show, did a screen grab. I'm going to put it up to the camera here. See if you can see this. We're going to switch up. Can you see that? No. So we're going to...
And remember,
actually, we're not going to do
the Model 3 is going to have the full Level 5 autonomy package
Look at
available.
that car.
It's going to be awesome.
That's a good looking car.
It'll be easier for you to park.
Yeah, I need a smaller car. So I bought a new Tesla. It's coming soon. And I did that because I think the Model 3, by the time I get it, even because I didn't stand in line, I just did it online, is going to be at least 2 years away.
Well,
And this car will get me by. I'm going to get by with a Model S with full autonomy for 2 years.
oh man.
Because, you know, Model 3 is the best car.
And so
Everybody else's car is
you
good.
got the insane mode or the
No.
ludicrous mode?
No. I just got a 90D.
Yeah.
And I don't need all that speed.
So you'll
I'll
be
die.
comfortable lending it to your son
In 5 years.
without the insane mode on it?
In 5 years. Yeah, there should be
Ludicrous.
sun mode, which they have like for valet. It's like this car, set it up
you
so
know,
this car can't go faster than
Can I
70
tell you a
miles an
quick
hour.
story about valet mode?
Yes.
So I pick up the car, the loaner car from Tesla. It's actually a trade-in. It had a dash cam. They ripped all that out. And so they're kind of like redoing this car. I expect to resell it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get in the car, I drive. Actually, the next stop I'm making is the gym. I go to the gym and I get to the gym and the parking lot's all full. So I have to leave the car with the valet guy. Actually, you get to park it, but you're kind of stacked parking. So you have to give him the key. And I thought, oh, shit, I don't want to give him the key, but I have to. So I know I'll put it in valet mode. And not thinking that I was actually in my car, I go up, pop, valet mode. And I was like, my wallet's in the glove box, which is now locked. I don't have the code to the valet mode. I'm in a loaner car.
Oh, no.
I'm screwed. And so so I give him the key and I get my parking pass and I'm on my way to the gym in the elevator going up one floor from the garage to the lobby of this building. I send a email to the person I know at Tesla Service Center who took my car.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Can you please give me the code? Do I have to come to the service center again? Or can you undo the valet mode because I've locked my wallet and I need my wallet to drive home and to make some stops on the way? And by the time I come out of the gym, I've got a message that says, we've unlocked it. Here's the code. Thank you very much. How sweet is that?
Now, as long as they remain good people, that's great. But one day when they decide that,
No.
you say Falcon Wind doors once too often and they're going to take my car with me and drive me off the side of a port.
Cyberdyne is going to
They're
dump you
going to come
out.
and get me. People are asking me about what color did I get on the car. So I got a new S and I was going to go blue, but then I started looking at them and I thought they were a little too dark. And I live in Southern California. And then Tom was telling me that blue cars and dark cars get dirty and they don't look as good when...
They're safer.
And
White
so
cars are safer.
I got a white car, pearl white. I'm very excited about it.
And we're going to wrap it. Talking Tesla wrap.
So now Jess has to come over here. Now Jess is on going 0. And Jess and Dave just got a new Model S after lots of discussion, which will be coming up soon. You have to tell us what color car you got and why.
We decided, what did we get, Dave? What's it called? Midnight Gray? Midnight... Your fans are going to be so upset that I don't know the name of the color.
You don't know the part number?
Midnight Silver.
Midnight Silver.
Yeah, but we just got our email. It's happening. We got a VIN number.
Oh.
And we're expecting
Is
our
it-
car.
Are you over 100,000? Is the VIN number over 100,000?
I don't
I
know.
wonder. I think they've already topped 100,000.
I would have to check.
Did they ask you anything extra about the car? Or they just told you?
In terms of what?
Like, did they give you a call?
Oh, no, I was on the phone with them a lot.
Oh, you were?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you know the brief stories that we started out with a pre-owned.
Right.
And then we quickly talked ourselves into just for a little more each month, we could get a new one.
Right.
So then I called and I was like, we changed our mind, we want a new one.
So you told Tesla,
then-
I've come to my senses. I actually want to give
Yeah.
you an extra $25,000. Would you please take it?
And they were like, okay. So, and then we got the message from Mel to cancel the order.
Right, right.
So we could get our car all ready for autonomous driving one day. So now we have the new one coming. So, and we're expecting in December, January.
So I asked when I went to the service center, I said, do you have one of the new cars with fully autonomous, all the cameras in the side pillars, behind the badge on the side? And they said, no, they haven't yet emerged. They're just starting to build them now. So
Yep.
you could have one of the very first. And we're going to have to put that on Talking Tesla as like a big breaking news item.
Yeah, I don't know who will get their car first. Will it be the Masons or will it be the Melvis?
It's a race.
It'll be awesome.
Thank you. All right, so unless you've got something else to talk about, I think we should just end it here and people should go and live their lives.
Here,
We
that's
will
yours.
edit this and chuck it on next week's Talking Tesla as an end bit for those of you that may have missed some of it or care.
I'm just looking at these pictures again. Textured
Yes, I
glass
know.
tile.
You're
They
going to
look
spend the rest of the night looking at the
they look
textured glass tiles.
glorious.
They do look beautiful. So many unanswered questions I have about the cost and about the efficiency and about microinverters and about how much the Powerwall is going to cost. I got so many
Control your
questions.
geekiness.
So many questions. I don't need a
wonderful.
roof, so I'm not going to be getting one of these. But I do hope that they get this to the point where it is so economically advantageous that everybody who has a new house or is putting a roof on a house puts this in.
So
I
how
would
many
love it.
employees is Solar City going to sort of mushroom into? Because now they need roofers
Right.
on top of solar panel installers. Because these guys used to go up on the roof and they used to just
Yeah.
drill in these little pucks,
Yep.
squirt a little bit of roof cement, clamp everything together, and then electricians. And are they going to have to get into your attic? I guess they are.
Yeah.
They have to get into your attic to wire this all up. How are they going to wire it up?
Yeah, we
nice
didn't
and
see anything
smooth?
about how this is going to clamp together and how it's installed and how quick it is. More questions. I've got even more questions.
Yeah, they're going to have to mess around with trim. They're going to have carpenters.
Oh.
I mean, Tesla, how many employees is this thing going to swell to?
It's the other thing I should say. There are other solar roofs that have been on the market and then off the market, and then there are other people that none of them look like this. I mean,
No,
these
they
look
suck.
absolutely
Yeah,
beautiful.
they were putting panels, these flexi panels, into the asphalt shingles. They sucked.
these do look spectacular.
One of the reasons that they sucked was because they got hot. And solar panels don't like being hot. They lose efficiency. And with this glass, these glass roofs will radiate heat, I think, much more efficiently, or reflect heat more efficiently. Hopefully, they won't be contributing to global warming.
Funny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's call it done. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you on Monday. We'll have Tom back with us just via Skype. Be careful out there.
Out.
Don't drop a kettle ball on your solar roof.
Not
Could
yet.
be bad. Hey, you know what? One last thing. I want this in my car. Put the solar roof in my car. Boom.
Ooh. Might make it too
Yeah.
heavy.
And talk to you soon.
The production process itself makes each a special unique.